business chapter partnership. Partnership with a business, wherein both organizations can benefit from each other's business. Face-to-face asks. This is the big one that I always talk about. I won't go into detail right now, where you form a relationship with somebody in your organization or one or more people who you know have deep pockets. And they trust you enough, so when you go to them, they know that you're not asking for money willy-nilly, but for a specific needed purpose. Donation challenges or matches seems to be popular to incentivize, particularly the first-time donors. Project-focused asks. One of the presenters discussed earlier that the best way to gain donations is by having a project and to go out and seek donations for a specific project. Next, ask for honoraria. When you go out to give talks to organizations, I think Matt was saying, we don't have a fee, but we're glad to accept honoraria. And grant seeking. Grant seeking is hard, it's not fun, there's a lot of rejection, but the big payoff makes it worth it all. You just need to find organizations that are sensitive to your kind of organization and what you're doing. Advertising on social media came up. This is something I know nothing about. I just throw it out there because if that piques your interest, there's an opportunity. Plant sale, our particular project that we're working on right now in Western Cuyahoga. Crowdfunding, again, not an area of my expertise, but something that you may know about, you may want to find out about. Okay, that's my presentation. Tim, why don't you go for it?
Sure. This is on education events and resources. Our notes are a little bit scattershot as new folks kind of joined us, so I'll just try to summarize very quickly. We did have a number of sort of content ideas around what would be good content for education, and it seemed to center around things that are a little more hands-on. So there's one topic that we started a section on around native plant sales. How can we leverage education on native plant sales and how to conduct those, help Habitat connect in with those kind of ideas, and leveraging National Audubon. But when a couple of organizations have some programs, educational programs in place, COAC becomes a great warehouse to store that and then to share that. And this was one of those areas. We have another one later. One of the other ideas was outreach to by Audubon to other organizations as a way to expand and improve our education programs. Kind of piggybacking on a theme that I've heard quite a bit today, we talked about outreach to younger birders, both through universities, high schools, connecting in with those schools, those administrations, faculties, and the students to build a stronger pipeline, not only for membership, but also for education. We talked about the ability for the COAC organization to leverage a number of its chapters and affiliates to be able to bring in educators, speakers, presenters that single chapters might not be able to. We talked about delivery methods and making sure that there was sharing between chapters and from COAC on the ability to deliver education in different ways. We heard from a couple of folks about delivery through Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and while these kinds of atmospheres for learning will never be replaced, we need to think about other ways in which we can reach out to a very, very broad audience and a diverse audience. So we talked more about using COAC as a central hub. We talked about that hands-on training. One of the ideas was around supporting nest box education. We know that there's a lot of interest in these hands-on projects, And folks are excited to do this kind of thing, but they often don't have the knowledge to be able to know how to build the nest boxes, how to install them, how far apart must they be, how do we monitor them. That kind of education can be brought. In fact, I know that OOS just supported Medina High School with a project that successfully put up some bluebird boxes on their property. And we just provided education for them. So, there are certainly opportunities to do that statewide through an organization like COAC. We talked about collaborations with other organizations. That was another theme that we heard a lot of, and that is making sure that we cast a very wide net in reaching out to organizations that have similar interests to us. They don't have to have the same interests, but similar interests that support the environment, that support the natural world. And this conversation talked about master gardeners and other organizations that help, perhaps not directly with birds, but with the habitat for birds and with pollinators, with butterflies, with water organizations. So we see a lot of possibility collaborating and connecting with organizations and making sure that we don't just stop sort of at one edge of the kind of groups that we believe would be interested in what we're doing. Cast a very wide net to bring more folks in and continue to build those relationships. Okay. And this just extends the argument about making sure that the presentations are very active. Some of our presentations, we need to be open to the fact that some of those need to be really hands-on. And we talked about, one of our contributors talked about working on a project where the audience was able to see specimens and to really work seeing the actual organisms, animals that the education was about. And so it wasn't just simply a slideshow, but a much more tangential experience. And we think that we can include that in the curriculum that COAC could provide. That's it.
Way to go, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay. Boy, I write messy, but I can read most of it. We talked about diversity, accessibility, and youth. Under diversity, go to them, whether that be through science programs and educational outreach. Could be teachers, schools, colleges, elementary schools. Go to the Scouts, bird study merit badges. There's even things like that within Girl Scouts and in 4-H as well. Invite Ohio young birders to your chapter to speak. Arts can be a big part of that. We do a annual art show with young kids in 2 counties. Work together. In accessibility, we want to find out about finding grants, finding people. How do we reach out to them? What kinds of locations can we have available that will take it beyond just birding in your car or birding in the parking lot, although that sometimes is a really good way to do it. Youth, big, huge thing on social media again here, with an attempt to organize it by someone. Promotional videos, let's see, share each chapter, sharing COAC. First catch organized content. Wow, I don't know what that means, but maybe it's about this. But we talked about the various social medias again. YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram, Livestream, Snapchat, Facebook, and there's probably more. At least 2 of them, I have no idea what we're talking about. So another thing that was important both in youth and in diversity is role models. People tend to respond well to folks that look like them. And so it might be good to partner on some of those outreaches. Hands-on. Kids love hands-on. They like things that are active and moving around. You get kids sitting still for 20 minutes, the next 20 minutes is going to be bedlam. So have some concrete activities for them to work on. So that's pretty much it. Intersectionality. Can you explain that better to me? I've heard that a lot of places, but I need to know what it is.
Okay, so the idea of intersectionality. So the idea of intersectionality is kind of a concept where all groups intersect. So say I am a female, I am a college student, I am an Ohio resident. Imani is female.
College student, Ohio resident.
I'm a woman.
Yeah.
We intersect. I know where the college is.
That's true. You
So
know,
it's having different groups that essentially have similar interests but aren't exactly the same, and having them work together.
Yeah.
So the Audubon societies, we tend to focus on bird and bird habitat. I've worked with groups that actually focus on other different types of North American wildlife, so wolves, foxes, bears, things like that. But they also have a vested interest in habitat conservation and bird population. So having these groups work together, even though they're not under the same name, the label that they sit under is not the same, you can build an even wider network by getting to and sharing with these groups that don't necessarily at first glance share an interest with you.
and that's the same with people as well. So say, for instance, we have the woman who has a mobility issue, right? But it's important to make our programs intersect. So accessible.
That was a mistake, sorry.
Accessible
Someone
to
passed out the
all
surveys.
walks of life, all groups of people, and also, for instance, like Jim Tomko, right? Who is or Jablonski, right? Who is doing the program is out doing outreach to specific targeted groups, but also is available to other groups. That's intersectionality as well.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's an important concept. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Remind me again, though.
There'll be a test in 20 minutes.
You can also Google it.
Okay, Fran.
Okay, we were plastics and chemical pollution. We came up with a lot of low-tech, low-cost, impactful things to do. Good suggestions: not taking straws, pick up trash while birding or walking. That's something I know I could do a lot more. Reusable bags. Kathy pointed, and that don't replace plastic bags with paper. Kathy pointed out that she once was giving out reusable bags at a grocery store, and she said, "Oh, would you like a reusable bag to put your groceries?" She said, "Oh, no, I have a lot of those at home." But like they didn't remember to take them in the store with them. So something to trigger you're actually taking them and using them. Reduce waste at events. That can be challenging because disposables are so convenient. Speakers to talk about pollution at the organization. This was something that Jill suggested, making comments and having organizations speak on behalf of the organization, making public comments at public hearings. She mentioned NEPA, the National Environmental Protection Act, and that is something that requires some public comment and response to it. She mentioned that amazingly within 2 years, microbeads, it was started by a group of young women. Microbeads were declared illegal, and they were a terrible pollutant. Someone brought up a good point. What about these clamshells? I go to the grocery store to buy my produce in clamshells. We talked about how you can tell your grocer you don't like this packaging, or my bias is that this is a situation in which the policy that some places have put into practice is that the people who use the producers who use that take responsibility. Not that consumers shouldn't pay for it, because they should take responsibility for those products and the recycling them or the waste stream. They mentioned that sunscreens can be polluting, that they kill coral. But where's Lisa? What is the product in sunscreen? I didn't write that down. Do you know what it is that does that? That's bad. Just a lot of so just find one with these chemicals. What's our?
Just buy sunscreen that says coral reef safe. There's one chemical I can't remember, but that's the UV protection chemical that
I
causes.
would even think the oil that comes off, you know, the little oil slick we produce from the lotions that are in there. I mean, you would think that
Yeah,
affects
probably.
it too, yeah.
I'm sure the other chemicals in sunscreen are not great, but I don't have. There's no research really on that yet. But the coral reef research is there.
That's a need then for somebody to
Yeah.
put that out. This is the kind you should buy. Refuse overpackaged products. I thought that was a good point. Like package of a package of a package. Reduce or don't use chemical herbicides and pesticides. Remember those things go into the water. Plant for pollinators. Reduce lawn. It was pointed. I'm sorry. What's your name?
Taryn.
Taryn talked about how that's waste. What was the term you used for?
Lawns, when there's nothing in it, it's just barren. It's a wasteland for wildlife.
Wasteland for wildlife. Plant rain gardens, use rain barrels, and the whole thing about redefine beauty. I don't know if I have some neighbors who like have certain strict ideas. Thank God they don't live inside my house. They have certain strict ideas about what a garden is supposed to look like, and they're happy to share that. But I don't necessarily. No, not everybody agrees, right, on what's a beautiful garden. So it's a very simple task. All of us just redefine beauty, okay? And then it's also pointed out that do not buy products with polyethylene or polypropylene. That even though the microbeads, Joseph points out, have been taken out of products, but these are two chemicals that are bad, right? Polyethylene and polypropylene.
Well, they're plastic.
They're
And
plastic,
so the law
okay.
removes them from toothpaste, body wash, and shampoo. But if you look at makeup, deodorant, polyethylene is still in those products. So just be a conscious consumer, and we're finding that the industry is listening in this plastics issue. So the more you talk with your pocket and where you spend your money, the more they're going to have to listen.
You want to say something?
You were talking about products.
Yes.
Something. I said, try clothes and things like that.
What is it?
It's like in dial soap. It's kind of
Try closing? Is that
yeah. It's like a antibacterial kind of thing, but it gets into the rivers and streams, and I know it's been affecting fish. And
I didn't know that. How do you spell it? We'll put it on here. Try.
TRICLOSEN.
I never heard of that. Interesting. Okay.
Well,
so
it's in like a lot of like antibacterial stuff.
okay. So
Toothpaste too. It can be in toothpaste.
okay. So that's bad too.
It's
Okay.
not good.
All right. I think that's it. So, thank you very much, everybody who participated.
Okay, folks, we're going to wrap up the idea station format just to highlight what we're doing. Bob, run over.
So these ideas are going to be taken back and are going to be shown on the website and COAC, right, Betsy? That's Betsy. There you are.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know about you. I listened to it. It's a lot of went, whoa, too much, too fast. So that'll be on the website. It'll give us fodder for future projects.
And if you,
It's fodder for you, the chapters, to turn into projects, such as Western Cuyahoga Audubon took the plant sale initiative, and we're turning that into a project. So you can take some of these ideas and do the same thing. If you don't understand what it is, but it looks good, ask a question on the website, and we'll find out some subject matter expert in the group, in the network, who does know about it. Thanks very much for participating. Yes, Tim.
Tom, will COAC management put together a summary of this that I can share back with the Ohio Ornithological Society?
Yes, I'm going to do minutes of the Idea Station section. You'll see it all back just as you heard it.
The entire meeting I'm talking
That, I can't speak for the earlier
yes,
part of the meeting.
we'll do it,
Thank you.
of course.
What's other up? Yes, Jim.
We have a representative from Great Lakes Audubon. Is she going to be speaking?
Betsy, what's the name?
She's, let's see, Isabella spoke in the beginning.
No, she did.
Another 10, 12 minutes.
All right, we're if you'd like her to, we have like 7 minutes. It will mean that you're
All the way
late.
from Chicago.
I understand.
Right.
Just so that you know, we'll be running behind. Then, so Isabella, if you would like to speak for a couple minutes, like 5 minutes or so, good. And then the co-presidents will close the program. Is that okay?
Yeah, I have a statement that I need to read too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for making time for me, and congratulations to all of you for having these great discussions here today. I wanted to, in the spirit of collaboration, wanted to offer the Audubon Great Lakes also as a support, not to duplicate your efforts here in Ohio on the local level, but we can be your direct connection to the Audubon National. So I'm the representative, Chapter Network Associate, and I can help you make connections to Points for Words program, like I was talking about that, or to the college chapters, like thanks to Carly, we started this program on a national level. So there's various resources that are already there that can help you make connections. A lot of you might know Marnie Urso, who is now the Director of Policy at Audubon Great Lakes. She's living in Cleveland, she's been working with Audubon for a very long time. We also have conservation team and network team fully staffed now at Audubon Great Lakes. Just want to offer it to you all as a resource. I wanted to also give a shout out to all the chapters who came to the Audubon Great Lakes chapter gathering here in Cajun. Thank you so much to Linda, to Jackie, to Jen. Let's see who else came. Mark came. We also had Amy and Bill from Columbus. Mark as well, of course, from Cleveland. So thank you so much for coming. And in terms of the convention coming up, this year in July 26th to the 29th, we have the National Convention. We have scholarships available for those who need it. We have sustainer scholarships for those who are experienced in the field, and that's $600 to offset your costs. And then we also have young professionals, students, and career transitions who can pretty much attend for free. And that is a waived admission fee, and then $500 for accommodations and hotels. So please pick up the flyer. You can apply for scholarship at the link. There will be also field trips and or you can register for, as well as a banquet and a barbecue. Yeah. For scholarships, yeah, as long as funding lasts. So I would say as soon as possible. I've seen the list that we already accepted. There's a number of people here who already received scholarships. So I would say as soon as you can, and like don't wait another day kind of a thing. Registration's open, not this week, but the following week, April 13th. Registration costs March 13th. I'm sorry, March 13th. That's a Wednesday. So we'll have full program workshops up on the website, and you can start registering. In terms of like full costs for the whole, you can expect about $1,500 is the kind of ballpark for the convention.
And it's not just open to Audubon chapters.
And it's not open just to Audubon. Of course, anybody can attend. Any young person of any age is of course welcome. And external, not Audubon affiliated, most definitely. Any questions? Great. Well.
Were you going to mention the possibility of maybe next one?
Yes. So long ago, I was talking with Jen Yablonsky about organizing another meeting. So it's you know, if there is interest, if people want to meet again, just to have a representative maybe from Audubon Great Lakes talk about policy or any other issues. If there is interest, we can talk about that. Yeah. But that was something that we scheduled way back when we had a gathering last year.
And if you want a real adventure, you can go to Michigan and take a ferry across. So a lot of you who want to come from Ohio, we're going to take a ferry across. How many have experienced the ferry across Lake Michigan?
I have not, but that looks fun.
Yes, it does.
I was looking at that.
Thank you, Isabella, for coming. We really appreciate it.
Okay, I have a message from Sherilyn Burns of Greater Akron Audubon that each of the 5 co-sponsoring Audubon Neo Audubon chapters read an endorsement of COAC. These are challenging times for conservation efforts and for organized groups in general. Greater Akron Audubon is celebrating its 85th year in existence next month, and it has one of the longest continuous histories of Christmas bird counts in the U.S. Yet active participation in most other chapter activities is at an all-time low. It is our hope that this rejuvenation of the Council of Audubon Chapters-COAC will mutually benefit all chapters and affiliate organizations simultaneously, move our conservation causes and needs to the forefront. We stand on the shoulders of the likes of Dan Best and Alan Dolan and many others who have long championed and envisioned such solidarity and cohesiveness. Let us not let them down.
Hear, hear.
Liz, they should have also put your name on there too.
Yes.
It wasn't mentioned, but Liz is a past president of the Ohio Audubon Council also.
With that note, I'd like to thank all of you for coming. Want to make sure that you fill out those surveys if you haven't already done so. There's a survey box in the back. Please be on the lookout of your email for updates and potential meeting or phone calls and other meetings in the future. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you.
Is anybody interested in an afternoon bird walk in the snow?
Space Coast Bird Festival. She's Greater Akron, and she was going to be.
Mark, could you please get up now and ask people to I wanted to drop this completed survey.
I got 90% of them. I've collected them.
Excellent. And then the second one, it's good seeing you again. This has been recorded live, and they can go to the website where they can see everything. Thank you.
Audubon people keep on going if they can.
Okay, I'll make sure that.
This is the last time, I promise. This is the last time. 2 things. Number one, this has been recorded live, and it is on Facebook. Go to COAC Audubon.
Council of Ohio Audubon Chapters -COAC.
COAC. But you have to put in Audubon first. That's on Facebook. All these are live. They've been posted throughout the day. Secondly,
Please return your surveys.
yeah, I got 90% of the surveys. Just please.
Page
fill
1
out
and
the survey.
page 2.
It really helps us a lot.
Page 2.
If you didn't travel home, thank you for coming.
He doesn't paint for it, he paints commissioners. What I call electronic robot. Not even a while. Yeah, it's good seeing you again. Take care of yourself. Are you going to go to the convention? No, probably not. But I'll be I'm No, hopefully, no, right. I don't want that to happen. It was part of my work.